Yo, welcome back to more Fate Hollow Ataraxia. Last time we had an amazing sequence where we got so much more added characterization and history behind Medea and Kuzuki. Like, Kuzuki's past, like, beyond just the vague thing, like, oh, okay, you know, we know Kuzuki was an assassin of some sorts. Like, he was trained from a very young age to do this, and he's got very good at it. It's like, okay, that's really cool, but it's like we never knew more than that. And the fact that, I guess, Nasu back then left the room for that, and who knows how long he had the idea of Kuzuki's fully fleshed out backstory. He probably even had it back then. It just either wasn't added to Fate Stay Night or just wasn't as relevant as all the other things he wanted to highlight. But either way, here it was here. And yeah, it does raise questions of, like, who is that organization, like you mentioned, Matt. And the very cool thing that it reminded me of that scene of the Blu-rays of UBW where right after Archer goes with Medea, and there's the added scene they have with Kuzuki and Archer talking about regret and talking about those kinds of things. And in Captain History, you said, like, yeah, it's totally like a reference to this part of Hollow Ataraxia, which is fucking awesome that they added that. And I guess because that point, by the time they had, I guess we're making the UBW anime, I guess for the Blu-ray, the fact that they could add that, right, between those two characters, because that characterization existed for Kuzuki, because Hollow Ataraxia had already been out, is really fucking cool. And just the whole thing in general. And then all you mentioned about Medea not being able to heal Kuzuki just due to, like, just not being able to, just being a witch at that point compared to her Lily self, which in FGO has a lot of healing stuff, including her Noble Phantasm. So yeah, I think that's a cool part of it as well. Or rather, that could have been like the inspiration for her having so much healing stuff in FGO, possibly in reference to that part of FHA right there. So yeah, that'd be really fucking cool if that was the inspiration. As far as where we continue on from here, because that was great, man. That was the best, probably the best added characterization in the game so far, just because there was so much to be said there about Kuzuki, and even the added context we saw in the Fate route of how he died and you know how Medea was so distraught over it, and then we saw how she went to the Emiya household afterwards, and then Gilgamesh ended up killing her too. Jesus Christ, I still remember her laugh, like Medea's laugh, as when Gilgamesh was killing her. Her voice actor was incredible, of course, but just that laugh in particular just has never left my mind. It was so much, and I feel like seeing this now, just how distraught she was, really adds to her mind state at the time. God. Regardless, we're going to press on, even through the bittersweet prospect of ending this hollow paradise, because understandably, even though Castor, which makes sense that Castor would have been able to at least understand it to the extent that she didn't want to pry any further, knowing that this scenario is the only one that she can, the only possible one that she can have her ideal life with Kuzuki. There's no other way. To the point where I don't even want to end it at this point. It's like, fuck, man, I don't... Which is, I love when games do that, even though, like, they're games, right? And, you know, there's no quote-unquote real consequence, but it makes you feel like, fuck, man, I really don't want to do that to this character. But which is, I love when games can do that. It can make me just feel that way. This game reinforces that feeling a lot, but that adds a lot to that feeling that Castor knows, and that even Kuzuki, if he found out just because she knows how he is, that he would probably want to correct that, right? And even just how he feels in general about Medea, what changed in him when he met her, just really made him change, you know, what he wanted, or rather, the fact that he just, before that point, accepted that there was no joy for him in this world to be found. Suddenly having that shattered is like, for the monologue to admit that is crazy. Because even when I was watching today's menu for the Emiya family, you saw that dynamic between them, but you could never really tell how Kuzuki feels. I mean, he's just a really stoic guy. His past, understandably, crafted him into a certain way. So, but just to have that confirmed of how he, like, really feels deep down about Medea is really, really nice. I think that's all I gotta say about the last part. I say that's all. It was a fucking lot, but I love it though. Question is where I want to start now. Do I want to go to the big bridge or back to the church? I feel a little hesitant to go back to her right away. I'm not sure why. I mean, because when we went there before, it was very, very important, very informative. But I'm not sure. Let's go to the big bridge first.
Huh?
At least this time around. In the middle of the bridge, something strange catches my eye. Wait a second. I think we were supposed to come here. Yeah, that makes sense. Stopping in my tracks, I observe for a bit. Yeah, I still have absolutely no idea what this person's doing or even planning to do. Thankfully, there's no one else around. Feeling the need to question this suspicious character, I start climbing up the steel frame to get closer. Everything's quiet on the upper deck. There are no street closures or anything, yet there isn't a single car to be seen. Oh my god. There stands the suspicious-looking man.
こんなところで何してるんだよ、お前。お前こそ日頃目的もなく歩き回って一体何がしたいのだか。
Not that this is any different from the usual, but I'm impressed once again. We get along so poorly that it almost ends up being a relief instead.
俺は常識の範囲で行動してるよ。歩道橋は下だぞ。なんだってこっち側にいるんだよ。なんとかと煙じゃあるまいし、高いところが好きってわけでも。
Ah, my bad. He does seem like the type.
なんだ。むやみに好きじゃないよな。高いところ。俺だって人並みに大丈夫だけど、毎日出張るほど好きでもないぞ。
Regular humans would be plain terrified at this height, wouldn't they? There's something wrong with being a living creature that feels no fear in a spot where one false step would leave you plummeting to your death. Uh-huh. No, not going to mention any names.
どうなんだろう、その辺。他人事じゃないんで、そこだけははっきりさせてほしいんだけど。必要に応じた場合のみだ。どれほど年月が経とうと根本的な趣味は変わらない。
My employers.
まあなんだ。魔術師的に高所を好むのは長所だと思っておけ。
Looking like neither one of us can stand further conversation, we both grow silent. I can't help but feel a certain kind of sympathy established between us by those last words.
よし。今の話はなかったことに。珍しくお互いのためになる。賢明だ。忠告しておくが、海を渡ることになったら、あれと観光は控えておけ。塔より橋が鬼門だぞ。特に、歌に出てくるような橋は命に関わる。
London Bridge is falling down?
貴重な忠告ありがたい。で、その運命って変えられるのかな？
So, he's referencing any sightseeing with Reed, so trip abroad, probably to, the clock in London, right? So I'm thinking of London Bridge here. But is there something in particular that, like, happened to him that he's referencing? Or is he just being funny?
自己の運命というものは自分の努力だけでは変えられないそうだ。
Seems not. Bringing about decisive change requires the help of others, is what he seems to be saying. The problem is, the only other who seems likely to have any involvement with Miyashiro's actions on that reportedly unlucky bridge is the very same devil who would push him off.
それ忠告になってない。死刑宣告すんな。何？心構えはできるだろう。冬のテムズ川は厳しいぞ。泳ぎは達者になっておけ。
Look at him, with that jolly smile on his face. Don't talk about this like it's someone else's problem, you.
ああ、もう、そんな先の話はいいよ。聞きたいのは今の橋の話だ。
Okay.
高いところで陣取るのは考えがあってのことなんだろう。お前、聖杯戦争を続ける気なのか？
Yeah, what are you doing? It's an event that has already come to pass. As the result of a confrontation that had nothing to do with either of us, Miyashiro, unable to cross the bridge, changed into able to cross instead. No longer can Miyashiro be stopped from crossing the bridge at night. However, Archer remains. Does he plan to stay here, doing this over and over again until the Holy Grail War continues?
聖杯戦争を続けるか。確かにサイバーとの勝負には執着があった。だが少しばかり方針が変わってな。いや、気が変わったというより、やるべきことが見えたというべきか。
And what's that?
それは聖杯戦争を続けようってやつと戦うってことか。俺は初めからその敵だけに照準を絞ってきたつもりだがな。ビルの屋上から街を監視していたのもその一環だ。
Oh wow.
信徒に侵入する使い魔を今まで何度撃ち抜いてきたか。
Okay.
使い魔って、
Yeah.
あの犬みたいな怪物を。ああ、おかしな話だが何日も繰り返している気がする。
Oh my god.
それが無意味だと気づいたのは。
Oh my fucking god.
さて、いつのことだったか。昨日か、それとも今か。
Yo. Question is it how I've been thinking so far, where there is some, because he's Shiro, that there is some just a thing, like, I get it, like, you know, they're separate, but at the same time, it'd be cool if there was just, like, an aspect of him that just even, like, a vague feeling of deja vu. Like this feeling, right? That our Shiro has been experiencing and repeating this, that he can pick up on that too, just to being him. It could be that, or it could be he's just actually noticed, but either way, this is very important. You know. The reason that Archer realized it was meaningless is something he himself doesn't seem to be aware of. Just as there's no connection between myself from last time and the self here now, Archer's previous and current actions are similarly unconnected. Okay.
そうか。どちらにせよ、
Fair enough.
屋上からの狙撃はやめたんだな。何匹も狙撃したんで飽きたとか。飽きるか。確かに同じことを繰り返してきたように思える。だがな、たとえ昨日と何一つ変わらぬ一日でも意味を感じなくなるほどに飽きるということはない。飽きる飽きないで狙撃を続けるのなら、俺は何十年と同じことを繰り返しただろう。何一つ変わらない。もう新しいことが起きないとしてもか。無論だ。現実は読み飽きた本とは違う。たとえ同じことの繰り返しでも何もないということはない。もし仮にあの繰り返しを飽きたというやつがいるのなら、そいつは何億、いや何兆回の聖杯戦争を繰り返してきたのだろうな。
Going through it trillions of times, huh? But Archer, after really going through that repetition hundreds of millions of times, is most likely tired of sniping. It's the same with me. According to Tosuga, this is less a loop than a restart, but I have no way of knowing just what number I am in the long series of Miyashiros who failed. I wonder what that number would be in the most, like, if you play the game ideally to the amount of restarts it would take to just complete the game, how many would that be? I'm curious.
まあいいや。それで狙撃をやめたお前はなんでここにいるんだよ。今度は橋でも壊す気か。さて、正直、
Well,
まだ確信は持てないのだが。
Not convinced. He glares in the distance. Those hawk eyes that can see an enemy 1,000 miles away are looking out at Biyama, towards the mountain behind the Ryudo Temple.
まあ、老婆心というやつだ。仮にそうだとしても、ここに居座る義理もないしな。一応、万が一のために地の利を確保しているだけだよ。
Well, it's nice having him on standby, I guess.
地の利の確保？なんだよ。やっぱり戦う気満々じゃないか。危惧しているのはお前ではない。信徒に群がる使い魔たちのことだ。
Sorry. Seeing them is the least of it. I've been killed by those bastards who knows how many times. An unidentifiable swarm of beasts. When the fourth day turns to night, they spread over Fuyuki City like a black stain until they blot it out entirely. It seems like Archer also treats them as an enemy.
そうか。狙撃していたのはあいつらを仕留めるためなんだっけ。
ああ。だがそれもやめた。あの怪物たちは倒しきれない。いや、そもそも倒す必要がない。あれは無害だ。放っておけば勝手に消える。
は？
There is no need to defeat them to begin with?
そんなわけあるか。あいつらは夜に暴れ回って犠牲者を出してるじゃないか。
何を言っている。そんな騒ぎになれば他の連中も黙ってはいまい。何を勘違いしているかは知らんが、犠牲者は一人も出ていないはずだな。
So far. Okay. This time for sure I'm utterly surprised. There were no humans killed by the monsters? That includes... what the fuck? No, that is correct. That Magus and her servant don't exist in this town. In the same way, the people killed by the monsters didn't exist here in the first place.
そういえばそうだったな。
What?
けど、無害ってのは言い過ぎだろう。あいつらは。
人は殺さない。ただ徘徊するだけだ。もっとも、目的はあるようだが、あの怪物たちは何かをしたくて街に現れるように見える。
Looking for something. Okay. That's the conclusion the servant who has sniped many thousands of monsters came to.
さて、邪魔が入ったが、大体のポイントは掴んだ。夫人を敷くとしたら、やはりあのアーチの上か。
I guess we'll leave you to it. An obstacle. Finished with the inspection, Archer leaves the overpass.
あまり道草をするなよ。この聖杯戦争は、お前が主体だ。いつまでも主役が舞台に出ないのでは、劇も終わりようがない。
Wow, it's a big deal that you know that. But I guess you would. Okay. Shifting into spirit form, Archer disappears without bothering to get down to the footbridge. So, okay, so the monsters that Archer has observed up till this point don't attack people. They've just been looking. And Shiro agrees because he agrees that Bazet and Angra aren't part of this town, as well as the monsters that have killed him. They're not part of this town. So, but it's still connected. Like, I don't know what Shiro, like, I don't know. I stand in the empty road, a stage devoid of the actors. The monsters have a purpose. Those words refuse to leave my head. Alright, well, way to be fucking... way to throw a wrench and be vague, thank you. Just as soon as I kinda think I know what's going on. Thank you. Is there anything not... drinking beer or whatever, sake with people? Am I good? Okay. And bath time, apparently. Okay. Well, let's see what else there is. Afternoon. Next day. Wow, we are like... we are super duper endgame right now. Holy shit. Oh my god. Okay. Alright, guess we're going to see... gonna go see Kaden, I guess. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Time to go see Kaden. Static? Oh, nope, okay. Alright, Kaden. Very interesting talk with Archer. That's crazy that he knows. I mean, it's not surprising to me because I was thinking before about that and how that would be super cool and it would make sense. But it was really telling when he was like, "You're at the core of all this." Like, oh, all right, yeah, sure. But the thing about the monsters threw me off. Why are you throwing me off at this point? Come on. I need to know. No signs of people in the plaza. The house of God stands quiet, no visitors in sight. This place stands far away from the world. Okay. I almost thought this song was coming out from outside of my headphones. But no, it just makes sense. It's just her distant playing. Wow. This place stands far away from the world, further still from heaven, a place of confession for the lost. A girl unknown to me is waiting at the church. Whether it is the first time or the last, it has no meaning here. She is something that never existed to begin with. She is everywhere and nowhere, just like him. The flow of time is irrelevant here. If I'm not mistaken, I am visiting this place for the second time. I start walking toward the church. Of course, I don't really have any business here. I got all the information I needed last time, and it was some good information. It's obvious that this woman is still hiding something from me, but I don't think she'll tell me anything more than she did last time. Probably not, so what do we do now? Her help isn't needed to resolve this incident. I placed my hand on the door while grumbling, so there are both good premonitions and bad ones. Without a doubt, this sudden urge to come here isn't going to be a good one for me. Oh. Rip, I guess? The hymn continues. I take a seat and wait for the end of a long reminiscence. The closed garden, the overlapping fingers, the discordant noise, old bitter dreams and weak malice. It's a story from not long ago. The priest that was here 6 months ago would rend open the hearts of people with his words and actions. And how. His methods were indirect and coercive. He would seize an opening to trample upon their deep wounds. That woman is the same as the priest. She was giving me Kine vibes, dude. Her methods differ, but this music deprives people of their affectations as well. It's somehow unsettling. This is most likely an incredible performance, but I can't bring myself to embrace it. You know, like, I'm sure the organ, there's a lot to appreciate about it, but it's always, like, felt nauseating to me. Like, this just sounds nauseating. It's just so much. So I agree. But it's her playing in particular. Toshiro, alone in an untrodden land, counting the breeze. This place is far away, deeper than everything, an empty sky. It says, rest your mind and let yourself stop moving forward. It says, take a break. If you are tired, you should rest your wings here. That kind of talk is irresponsible. Telling someone to rest when they don't have the power to stand in the first place is like telling them to end it altogether. Wow. You must not stop. You must not seek rest. Once you've started, you must fill the cup to the brim. Abundantly decorated, continuing on in circles to fill up every day, the abyss of slumber before the end, the built temple. Are we just talking about the game now? Her performance was over before I knew it. I breathed a sigh of relief once I no longer have to listen to that unbearable peace. And before I knew it, that woman was standing right in front of me.
Yeah, お疲れ。いい曲だったな。
Ah, her theme. This is really nice. I lift my head and without standing begin to applaud.
それはどうも。あなたは音楽に関心が？
ついさっきできたところ。調べたなら知ってるだろうけど、割と無趣味なんだよ、俺。真面目にオルガンを聴いたのはあんたと知り合ってからか。なんだ。 つまりそれぐらいあんたの演奏はお上手だったってこと。
Okay, Shiro. Oh goodness. Apparently my blatant flattery paid off as Karen nods, satisfied.
聞いてもいなかったくせに。
Whoa. And brazenly complains under her breath.
バレてたな。
He tried. Judging by her reaction, she must find it meaningless to even answer. Well then, this silence is a bit awkward. Somehow time goes by. I didn't care about talking with her in the first place, so I'm completely okay even with this unpleasant silence. I settle into my seat and squint toward the sun rays beaming through the skylights.
確認するのですが。
Yes?
あなたは私をもう用済みだと言いませんでしたか？
This is a personal visit. We've talked business already. We've talked about the war. Let's talk to you, Kaden. What's up? How you doing?
言ったけど、ここは教会だろ。用がなきゃ来ちゃいけないっていうのか？
I immediately respond to her unspirited question.
そうですね。訪れる者が迷いを抱えているのなら拒めません。
Well, good, because I don't know where I go after this, so this will be very helpful.
もっとも、あなたは子羊には程遠いですが。
辛辣だな。けど何も言い返せないな。懺悔したいことは見当たらないんで、やっぱりあんたに用はないや。
では、私との接点はありませんね。
Our conversation ends on that note. The church fills with silence once again. She ought to understand my stance here, and yet Karen stands unmoving in front of me. We haven't got any business with each other, so she could just leave me alone and go back to her room.
他に話はないのですか？
だからないって。
Nope. Just gonna stand here. Let's jam out to your theme more. This is annoying. If we don't talk about something, she'll be standing here like this forever.
わかった。じゃああんたの話。
Yeah, what do you want to say?
はじゃなくてさ、こっちから話すことはないんだから、そっちが話すしかないんじゃない？
What a Chad.
俺、ネタはないけど、あんたの話なら聞くよ。
なるほど。それはもっともです。ですが、話すと言っても何を？
なんでもいいよ。話題がないときは自分の素性とか趣味とかネタにするといい。自分が何者かを示すのは会話の基本だぜ。
Here we go. This is what I wanted. Tell me about you.
それはそうですが、そのようなことであなたはいいのですか？
いい。話してくれるなら聞く。
I'm not really interested, but if this woman wants to talk, I can't stop her. Besides, no matter what kind of talk it is, it'll probably be entertaining as long as it's something I don't already know.
あなたには必要のない話とは思いますが、これも何か意味があることかもしれません。
I'm ready. After that, Karen goes silent for a short while. Probably because she isn't used to talking about her own history. She seems to enter a deep meditation while trying to recall her past in silence. In the end, it was a predictably tedious tale. She was born in a country in southern Europe and lost her parents soon after. Her father was unknown to begin with. Her mother had a weak constitution and died 1 year after her birth. Official records state she was killed by a robber, but in reality she seemed to have taken her own life. God damn it. Oh my god. The church treats suicide as a transgression of the Lord's teachings. It's not a mortal sin, but those who have taken their own lives will never pass through the gates of heaven and will suffer eternal torment in purgatory. That's all. It's actually a good story. Her mother was a devout believer that, in the final moments of a painful life, found a purpose great enough to rebel against the Lord. However, that purpose her mother found was meaningless to a small child. No matter how wonderful the meaning she found was for her, it didn't change the fact that she turned against the teachings of the Lord and left her child behind. Nobody was left to care for the child. Her mother had no relatives and her father didn't come forward. The prevailing opinion among the people was that her terminally ill mother had birthed a child from an unknown man, like a harlot. With no relatives, the child was entrusted to the priest of a small church. Her mother was a believer that took her own life. Her child was placed in the hands of an exemplary, devout priest who looked with contempt upon the woman who had premarital sex with a passing stranger. The child was entrusted to the house of God without a single piece of luggage. However, she did have one belonging. Karen. Her mother had left her nothing but a name. The priest did not give her his family name, instead leaving it the same as the mother who committed suicide. That name was Hortensia. It's the name of a certain flower that blooms on rainy days. Sounds appropriate. The girl lived with the priest for about 8 years. The priest was filled with love towards the Lord, but shared no love for the child he had taken in. He was provided funds for her upbringing, yet made her work as a servant of the church instead of sending her to school. Jesus. Just by being born, the girl had sinned. Wow, that makes me think of, okay. She was not baptized at the time of her birth, and until baptized to welcome her into childhood, she would be given nothing of the Lord's love. The priest declared that until then, the human known as Karen could not be recognized as a child of God. However, it was questionable if this unusually strict priest would be generous enough to baptize an orphan at all. There were 2 reasons why the priest did not grant her a proper education: in order to reduce unnecessary expenses and to prevent her from gaining knowledge. Yikes! Knowledge must not be given to the child of a beast. Jesus. That is the first step towards wickedness, and more than anything else, it would be inconvenient in various ways if she gained the capacity to think for herself. Jesus. After all, defiance and exclaiming harmful truths to the masses would affect the dignity of the house of God. Harmful truths. To pray was all the priest permitted her to do. He instructed her to give herself to God. This continued for 8 years. Maybe she became used to suffering. Maybe her emotions were broken from birth, like her father's. God damn it, she's Kire's... Oh my god, she's Kire's daughter. There's no denying it at this point. I didn't want to pop off before, just because I was like, let me be sure. There's no shot she's not his daughter. Oh my fucking god. I can say this now. Sorry, I had to stop to do something. Spring Song movie spoilers. If you don't want to know any spoilers, anything they've added to the movie, because what I'm about to describe is something like that, skip ahead. I'm gonna say to when you see the text scroll again. I'm gonna try to keep it under a couple minutes or around there. But to be safe, if you just don't want to know anything about the movie, even though if you're watching this visual novel, you should know about Heaven's Feel and the route and stuff, but this is unique to the movie, so I'm about to get into it. 3, 2, 1, spoilers for that movie. Spring Song spoilers. So it's getting into Kire and his lack of capacity for what brings everyone else joy, seemingly, which is, you know, love, it's marriage, you know, having a child. We know all this about Kire, but in the scene we see him in the room with his wife, his white-haired wife, and oh my god, so that's been on my mind for a while now, and eventually that review is gonna go out. I talk about it in there, but I kind of leave it at that because I kept my skepticism alive, even though it was like, oh my god, is it something like that? Is it? This here confirms it fully for me, which is now I can be like, holy fucking shit. What dude, fate is a funny thing. You know, no pun, but what the fuck, Nasu. What cruel fate for Karen to end up at the church her father used to be at. Now we see the whole story here with, oh my god. But anyway, so we see that scene with her Karen's mother, I suppose, and get his wife in the room, and we see her kill herself. And yeah, so, and the fact that they added that to the movie is crazy. That we get the visual of her, because that is so relevant for like hollow ataraxia, which Karen looks a lot like her mother. From my memory of the movie, I've only seen it once, but I remember the white hair. I remember she looked very, but this was, yeah, so I didn't, yeah. this was crazy to have this confirmed. Jesus. All right. Cause yeah, now we know, cause she was told like these horrible things about her mother, like how the priest she ended up with, and just they looked down on her. By being born, the girl had sinned. That super reminded me of Kide. I don't want to say it yet because I was like, oh, are they gonna? Okay. Yeah, dude. Holy fuck, man. Because all she had was her mother's name that she left her. You know, Karen, and then her maiden name. God. That makes Kide even more of a bastard, man. I mean, it's not surprising, but god damn. Just completely ghost from his daughter's life. Though I do remember, and I know Fate Zero different from canon Fourth Holy Grail War, but I remember from the Fate Zero anime, the very beginning, like a day or two after she dies, like Kide's involvement in the Fourth Holy Grail War begins, or rather, you know, he's developed his command spell, and, you know, Tokiyomi was describing things, you know, that were circling around him, that meme. I don't know if Kide would normally, like, try to be in her life. I don't see why he would, right, given what we know about him, but man, that's fucked up, man. That's some fucked up. I like how that's, like, making me go, man, that's fucked up, Kide, amongst all the other shit he's done. That's like, oh, man. That's crazy, dude. What the fuck? Alright, sorry, I had to take a moment. Now that this has been confirmed, I had to just... Whew, that's finally off my chest now, because I've been talking about this for a while. Not this, but you guys remember I've been saying, like, I have a thought about Kaden since seeing the movie. I'm not going to mention it yet, because the game hasn't indicated much. I mean, there's been a couple things in hindsight now that I find interesting. Oh my god. There you go. And that pretty much confirms it for me. Maybe her emotions were broken from birth like her father's. Come on. God damn. The girl didn't think of her life as difficult. She learned of the Lord and of man by watching the priest. She perfected her innocent prayers over those 8 years. And then came the year when the girl was of age to receive baptism. Stigmata appeared on her body, and the priest accepted his defeat. Stigmata. God, it just reminds me of when Kide gets the command spell. He's like, what? And they're explaining, and Tokiyomi's like, it's a stigmata. It's like, he could no longer control her. He opened the gates of the church that imprisoned her and handed her over to a much larger world. The fortress-like structure of the monastery was built deep in the forest. She cut her connections to the outside world and earnestly continued abiding by the teachings of the Lord in a larger prison. Sheesh. Poor Karen. It was a separate world. For the men who lived there, it embodied the very virtues of poverty, purity, and meekness that they strove for. The monastery was a self-sufficient community consisting of devout followers, and all necessities for living were made within the monastery. The followers made their own food and clothing, and as a modest pleasure, a small amount of wine and cheese. Detailed rules for each monastery are different, but the principles are the same. There was only labor for living and prayer for the Lord. Inside the high walls, there was a world of peace and harmony. To achieve a union with God, they renounced the ways of the world and formed a close society of the chosen faithful. Naturally, that lifestyle requires more discipline than at a local church in every aspect. The girl was accepted by the Cistercian order. Among the monasteries, that place had a particularly long history and strict discipline where love of the Lord rivaled even the worth of a person's life. To eat, to work, to worship, to choose. Even those universal rights were not extended to those not loved by the Lord. Jesus. By that standard, the girl did not even have basic human rights. No, her very existence was unforgivable. That's so fucked, man. It was unthinkable that the venerable Cistercian order would take an orphan child into its ranks. The girl was accepted into the monastery solely because of the stigmata that dwelled within her body. So that's that again. But so what is the implication with the baptism? Like, what did that do to her body? Yeah, when the girl was of age to receive baptism, stigmata appeared on her body, and the priest accepted his defeat. And I should have questioned this, like, when this was said. Like, what appears on your body when you're baptized? What the hell? To spontaneously be wounded, to bleed, and to be healed. Knowledge of this ordeal is passed down by the faithful. From the perspective of those believers who live on the other side, it was clear that the girl possessed an unusual power. To spontaneously be wounded, to bleed, and to be healed. I mean, I guess that checks out from what we've seen so far. In her response to, her body's response to those possessed, those evil. She said she's no stranger to evil phenomenon, but so that's always been an aspect of her. Okay. When it was recognized that she was an advanced spirit medium, that she could sense the nearby drifting spirit matter, act as an intermediary, and materialize it into this world through her own flesh, the girl's value skyrocketed. Wait, okay, whoa, okay. An advanced spirit medium. Huh. And materialize it into this world through her own flesh. So that's what she's been doing with the beasts, right? That's why she said they were born of her? Or it was said that they were born of her? And she got this after being baptized? The stigmata appeared? That unusual ability is not something that can be cultivated with training. An ability held from birth. Oh, it is a genetic predisposition unrelated to the will of the individual. Such a rarity having a high value is only natural. Karen Hortensia's rare talent will achieve unprecedented results in a particular ritual. Oh, in light of this report, the Holy Church entrusted the young girl to the Cistercian monastery. But then again, no matter how valuable she became, the Church never bestowed the Lord's love to her. What the fuck? The girl was given a room and education and trained as an instrument of the Lord. Instrument, I see. She was taught to conduct herself as a perfect believer so that she would not bring shame upon the Church's name whenever she went outside. As a general rule, a person who entered the monastery could not live outside of it. They may move to other monasteries, but being outside of a monastery altogether was not permitted. However, she was not invited to be a Cistercian nun, an agent. Ooh, she was delivered only as an armament of the Church for assistance in demon exorcisms. Huh. So a Cistercian nun is also an agent. Dude, the Holy Church is so interesting. I learned a lot more about them in Tsukihime. And even now, like, the effect of baptism and it had a particular effect on Karen, I guess. But that's like within her body, and that was from birth. But I guess the baptism itself, so the baptism is another thing. There is a stigmata that appeared externally. Internally, she always had this ability, apparently. This unusual ability. But even the fact that at the monastery, the Cistercian nun's an agent. But okay, so she's only allowed to be assistance in demon exorcisms. A weapon is intended to be guided by the hands of man. She was permitted to leave the monastery only when her unusual talents were required to make known the Lord's might. Okay. Only used her for that, huh? The might of the Lord was not meant to be turned toward humanity. It should be directed toward the wild ones who do not fear the Lord, the demons that threaten humanity. To manifest evil, a demon has to take over a human's body. To cleanse this person and reveal God's love to humanity was the task given to the woman, no, to the agent using the woman. Okay, she was employed by an exorcist, a special priest, one allowed to act as a representative from the bishops of the diocese. They answer calls for aid, visiting the towns of the possessed to exorcise demons. It was closer to fighting than praying. Her master frequently said to himself that the work was like washing the bottom of hell's cauldron. Exorcisms vary in severity, and the ones her master faced were the particularly intense ones. They did not concern themselves with imposters who blamed their own mental breakdowns on demons or with monster outbreaks. Their opponents were only those who had completely turned into demons. God damn. The tragedy caused by a true demon isn't something that can be endured by the human mind. A true demon. How many hours have I put into Type Moon stuff that I am just now seeing this term? Isn't something that can be endured by the human mind. Because the only, like, similar term I know to that is true ancestor. I mean, I can see them referring to, like, vampires as demons, but I feel like they make a distinction there. Maybe? I know, like, terminology in this lore is very particular, so it probably just is its own thing in regard to demons, rather than an encompassing term that would include vampires and other oddities, I guess. I don't know. All towns visited by the exorcist had deviated from the world of humans. The damage inflicted by a demon isn't limited to the possessed, but also spreads to the people around them. All this seems very relevant to what's going on now. More than the possessed person, their spirits, rather than their bodies, are twisted into deformed monstrosities. Their spirits, too. Shiro? As her master would say, it wasn't far from a tour of hell. In an exorcism, the weak point that most easily succumbs to death is none other than one's human reason. The body's ability to survive is not that important. In the first place, the extent of the human's power cannot compete with the likes of one who has turned into a demon. The physical body is protected by a holy relic embodying the miracle of the Lord. However, the spirit must be defended by one's own will. What is required in an exorcism is ironclad faith. In that respect, too, the woman was suited for exorcism. I guess she would be. Oh, this is so cool. I love learning Holy Church stuff. It is probably for the best that her emotions shifted so little. It is said that the exorcism of a true demon is something that cannot be endured twice, but she continued to perform them indifferently. The woman was valued highly. She had the life of a nun and the role as an agent of the church. The workload assigned to her was nothing short of backbreaking. It probably would have overcome any normal person within a month's time. Although as far as she was concerned, it was not much different from the daily work she used to do. For her, who couldn't really understand things like fun, sounds familiar, torture had become indivisible from work. Pray and work. Ora et labora. It's ironic. Those words which symbolize the monastery had come to symbolize her own life as well. We gotta save this girl. How we gonna save Karen?
要するに、教会から修道院にたらい回しにされて、そこで転職を得たってこと?
She found something. She had this birth, talent, or curse. Both.
そういうことで間違いはありません。
And also, she's Kirei's daughter, dude. What the fuck? Oh my god. Because it's, oh man, it's so like, and I just have to accept that now. Like, the game doesn't address that. I don't know if it's ever going to address that. It's laid out the pieces there. I had an extra piece, so it was, I like to think I would have still been able to put that together and be like, no way, no fucking way. But that just like confirmed it for me. Like, there's no way, like, dude. Karan seems to pout a little as she nods. Whoops, was she offended that I summed it all up a bit too much?
なんだ。勘に触った?
はい、驚きました。初めからそう説明すればよかった。
No, I appreciate the detail.
今のまとめ方ですが、次から使わせてもらっていいですか?
Her admiration and proposal are both sincere. Whatever, I honestly don't get this girl at all.
いいよ。元からあんたの著作権だ。使いたいならじゃんじゃん使ってくれ。
感謝します。今の簡潔さはどれをとっても真実です。
I'm not sure how to react seeing her act that pleased right after telling such a depressing story. Well, somehow I just felt that way. This woman is actually pleased with having that kind of life up to now.
それはいいけどさ、そこまで話したなら最後まで聞かせろよ。
And that's an interesting thing, because it seems, till this point, at least from what we can tell so far, and from Shiro's observation, Kanen does accept this. She isn't... And I don't... the word joy might be too strong. I don't know if that's how she feels, if she does feel fulfilled or joyful from her life to this point when she found purpose. And I mean, if so, that's great for her. I mean, I you know, sympathize with her backstory, because that's just a tragic set of events from birth, you know, like her birth was a sin. Like, again, that's so, I mean, that applies to Agura, but of course that reminds me of Kirei, and with her being his fucking daughter, it's like, you know, and even Shiro comparing her to Kirei, they give you so many pieces, man. Jesus. But yeah, but that's an interesting thought, and it's sort of a relieving one. Like, even though she is Kirei's daughter, I guess fortunately, despite her unfortunate circumstances, she does find fulfillment and possibly joy in this life, and that would be nice.
悪魔払いであんた何するの?
Well, no, it's not fine. It's not, but I want to clarify this part first.
何もしませんが、私には悪魔を払う言葉も奇跡も与えられていません。
No Kirie leçon.
私は死に付き添って歩くだけですが。
は？付き添って歩くだけって、それだけ?
What the hell? Is this guy she's calling Master a coward? Don't tell me he was just afraid to go to towns where the possessed were by himself.
何に憤っているかは聞きませんが、その短絡は間違いです。エクソシストになる者は、
Yeah, there's no way it was that.
恐れません。
It was to make use of her ability, right?
恐れるのは心が折れることだけです。
And her ability seems passive. It's independent of her own will. It just happens when she is around those possessed, right? So around these true demons, it must have had a big effect. I'm trying to think how that would benefit her master. Because Karen gets harmed to her body, and then there's healing. But we know, like, the beasts are born from, I don't know.
ご立派で結構だけど、それなら一人で払ってればいいだろう。あんたが付き合う必要はないんじゃないのか。だいたいなんだ、飛躍霊媒体質。
Yeah.
あんた悪魔の近くにいると憑依者と同じ霊障を生んだろ。なら助手っていうより邪魔者だ。火事場にガソリンかぶって飛び込んでるようなもんじゃないか。
So what was the benefit?
それが私の役割です。霊障を受けること。
Oh my god.
それが魔を識別する最短の方法です。
Jesus. That just was it. There's nothing else. That she was just, it was her job to take that damage. Just to identify that. I mean, I'm sure that's very helpful, but fuck, that's pretty fucked.
悪魔は人の目に見えず、取り憑かれたものは変貌するまでわからない。
Got it. All right.
いえ、神聖な悪魔は巧妙に
True demons.
憑依者が悪魔つきであることを隠蔽する。育ちきるまで外敵を呼ばないよう極力霊障を抑えるのです。
Just blows my mind that I found yet another classification that I've never seen before. Jesus. All right. But that's very cool to learn, though.
残念ながら育ちきった悪魔を払う術は教会にはありません。
Oh. Wow.
エクソシストにできることは彼らが育ちきる前に発見し、これを払うことだけ。悪魔となった者は焼却するしかない。それを可能とするのは異端審問に特化した代行者だけでしょう。
Specialized in heretic inquisition. Okay.
ああ、そういう用途なわけ。
Oh, Shiro glitched there. A sudden emotion destabilizes me. I feel just a bit disgusted. Huh. Demons can't be seen by humans. Only the host knows he is possessed. The first and most difficult step in an exorcism is finding the demon that conceals its true identity. Huh. Even for a skilled exorcist, identifying a demon is like walking on a tightrope at all times. This is where she is useful. She has an idiosyncrasy that responds lustfully to the surrounding demons and evil spirits. Lustfully, Jesus. It causes the effects of the possession on its own. I do remember when that happened. I'm not sure why it has that effect, but there you go. It's Nasu for you. From the church's perspective, it's an extraordinary heresy. Although it would normally be a useless genetic trait that would be harmful to even let exist, there is one specific purpose for which its radical effectiveness is demonstrated. In short, this girl is a living detector that sheds blood to inform others of demons, basically. Very messed up. It makes a tearing noise. It breaks her arms, crushes her legs, and rips her womb from the inside. What the fuck? Even if the form returns, the function does not. The sight from those dull golden eyes was lost long ago. Wow. This bell-like voice may not even resound in reality. These are her true colors. She is a messenger of God who saves others by mutilating herself until death.
なるほど。それで。
Her true calling was well said.
そりゃ、マグダラの生涯譜にも選ばれるわ。
It takes some kind of reason to endure such unreasonable pain. Chosen by the Holy Shroud of Magdala. I don't know if they said that before. I wasn't aware that it had to choose you. We've seen her use it a few times, but that's cool. It takes some kind of reason to endure such unreasonable pain. She gives unimaginable pain to herself. Even if she doesn't want it, injuring herself is still a masochistic act. You cannot injure yourself out of hatred. Her deeds are not something that can be done without love or faith.
一応聞いておくけど、それって拒否権はあるのか？ねえよな。あったら断ってる。
それも間違いです。教会は厳格ではありますが、非道ではありません。悪魔払いの役職には拒否権があります。
She wanted to.
なら、なんで悪魔払いなんか手伝うんだよ、あんた。
そちらの方が意味がありますから。
It's a purpose.
それに、私には外も内も変わりはありません。
Going outside to perform exorcisms and being inside the monastery are no different. Ah, so that's it. I had thought before that she was riddled with bandages and reeked of disinfectant, but it's no wonder. A demon stings at the very heart of a human. No matter where she goes, she can't avoid getting hurt.
まるでゴミ箱だ。悪魔払いを手伝う理由になってないよ、そんなの。あんた、愚痴の一つもないの。
Total bullshit, Shiro
自分が人に比べて
says.
ハンデを負っていることは理解していますが、それも生まれついてのことです。恨んだところで始まりません。このように生まれついたのなら、その定めに従うだけです。
Wow. There you go.
なんだそれ。治そうとか考えないのか？病気みたいなものなら体質改善とかしろよ。
治療法は発見されていませんし、治したいという希望もありません。自分は不幸なのだと嘆けるだけで十分です。それに、私は確かに傷を負いますが、それは私の傷ではなく誰かのものです。憐れみこそすれ、恨むことはありません。
Not my wounds, those of someone else. What? Why is there a red? Holy shit. Holy shit. The hell is she talking about?
そのままでいいってこと？
Are we doing this Angara possession thing? I mean, that's what it seemed like before with their connection. Just seems like he kind of jumped in there for a second. And this talk about it before, I was going to talk about this part. Demons can't be seen by humans. Only the host knows he is possessed. The first and most difficult step in an exorcism is finding the demon that conceals its true identity. So identification The host knows. I mean, I guess that checks out so far, but you know.
はい。このように生を受けたのですから、その定めに従うだけです。
She is fine, like this. Very, very accepting. She said she'll take everything as it is. I can't speak for how someone else might take it, but this kind of thing doesn't sit well with me. With Agra? Maybe?
あんたさ、何がしたくて生きてるんだ?
Because like, why the fuck is me quotation mark? And if we're going with the Angra possesses Shiro thing and the fact that we saw that like Angra red text there after, you know, Shiro seeing double there for a second, almost like his mind kind of shifting there for a second. I guess Angra didn't like that, or doesn't like that.
人生に意味が必要なのですか?
いや、そんなものは意識しなくていいけど、あんたはさ、何もしないために生きてるみたいだ。そういうの、頭くるんだよね。
Someone had complained about something like this sometime or other. It was... I don't like it when people aren't rewarded for their hard work. When were those words said? I wouldn't call it saintly. After all, those imposters known as saints don't try to award results, because it doesn't fit the equality they preach. They'd never speak of being rewarded in the end. That's why these are nothing but thoughtless words. It's not even hypocrisy, but a questionable, naive wish.
また空気が変わりましたね。先ほどは苛立ちでしたが、今は明らかに怒っている。
Apparently she can read my expression even with her eyes closed. But unfortunately that's not quite right. It's not that I got angry just now, but that I'm always in a bad mood when I'm here. That's a curious thing too.
まあいいや、あんたにもポリシーがあるだろうし、いちいち口を出すことでもなかった。気に食わないが思うようにやってくれ。
そう。あなたは我慢できない人なのですね。
She pushes back with a blunt tone. Is it her turn to be angry now, or did she just return to her usual self? She looks at me with conceited eyes appropriate for this church.
何それ?
別に。あなたとよく似た人を知っているから比べてみただけです。
Oh my god.
もっとも、その人は我慢できる人ですが。
Could she mean Agra? You know someone?
何の接点もない人間だけど、面白い共通点があるものですね。
What a talk this has been. Alright, this talk has had a lot of stuff. Okay. I'm just gonna take that for what it is and keep moving. She grins broadly. I don't think it's appropriate for a substitute priest to flaunt her malicious intent.
何言ってるかわからないけど、あんたの知ってるやつと共通点なんかないだろ。
知らぬは本人ばかりなりね。レミやシロンは自身の欲望を殺し、世の不条理を許せない善人。
Oh wow.
対して彼は自身の欲望を許し、
Oh my god.
世の不公平を黙殺する悪人。
That's crazy. That's crazy.
正反対の位置づけなのに共通項が多すぎる。まるで合わせ鏡の悪魔のよう。
Dude. What a perfect palindrome of a personality. Jesus Christ. Damn. Wow. Okay. Got it. An unpleasant smile appears on her face. I figured out something. Karen has even less individuality than I do, but she gets excited at the idea of rubbing someone's weak spot the moment she discovers it. Like father, like daughter. That's genetic, I guess. The troubling part is how effective her nose for this stuff is. This woman uses her unmatched senses to sniff out the scars of others.
その正反対のやつってなんだよ。
昔話に出てくる人物です。
God damn it.
あるところに国中の罪を受け持って死ぬまで罰を与えられた罪人がいました。彼は至って善良な青年でしたが、何の意図もなく罪人に選ばれた。人の意志による行為ですが、そこに人間の意図はなかったのですから、天の意志と言えるかもしれませんね。
天の意志ね。そんなものに振り回されて牢獄行きか。さぞ世の中を恨んだろうな。
いいえ、恨んだのは初めの数年だけ。彼は最後に人々を許しました。長く転変する世界を見て、きっと全てを許したのです。
How did he do that? Over a long time.
憎しみは長く続かないってやつか。それはほら、なんだ。加害者側のさ、都合のいい願望だろう。
Well, I guess that means while he was alive, right? Yeah. Well, no, the world changed. No, I'm just... This talk is giving me a lot, so it's... Just keep going.
でしょうね。彼に根付いた憎悪はもはや永劫と言えるものです。私たちが呼吸をするように彼は常に人を憎む、そういう存在になっている。その憎悪はもはや生態であって感情ではない。そのあり方で彼は全てを肯定した。世界は憎むに値する。人間は千差万別。何が起ころうともそれは不条理ではない。不条理には憎しみを持って相殺するから好きにしろと。大抵の出来事、大勢の人間の欲望をそれもよしと許容したのです。
そりゃすごい。善人じゃなくて聖人じゃないか。
Saint.
それ。
いいえ、全てを肯定するということは時に最大の悪性となる。わかりませんか？全てを許すということは強者は強く弱者は弱いと切り捨てることなのです。加えて彼は個人の欲望を賛美する。本人がいいと思うことをしろと。善悪の観念はなく、ただそうであると肯定している。
What a troublesome person, Kaden adds. That certainly is troublesome. A mindset like that would end up endorsing crime.
まずくないかそいつ。あんた神様の代行なんだから今のうちにしょっぴいとけよ。ほら、あの赤い布とか使ってさ。取り物は得意だったろ？
ご安心を。捕まえるには及びません。
No need. Okay.
確かに恐ろしい存在ですが、放っておいても構わないでしょう。基本的に彼は無能で無害ですから。
The weakest servant.
何その言い分。ずいぶんひどくない？
真実を言ったまでです。何しろひたすら受動的で面倒くさがり屋な性格ですから、率先して悪を行うことはありません。
ならいいけど。で、そいつと俺のどこが似てるんだ？
わからないのですか？本当に世界を愛しながら憎むか、憎しみながら愛するかだけの話なのに？こんなにも決定的に違っていながら、ただ順序が逆なだけのあなたたちは？
I'm asking because I don't understand, or so I was about to say, but it seemed like a waste of time. I didn't come to talk about this sort of thing to begin with. I just came here on a whim, listening to her talk as she pleased. I have no obligation to rack my brains over some uncomfortable doubt like this.
質問。なんでこんな話になったんだ？
It's obvious now that Kaden's switch has been flipped. This contrived shift in behavior is something I've seen often with Toscarin.
驚いたわ。それもわからないの？あなた本当に高顔なのね。
他人の喜怒哀楽に疎いというのであれば同感だけど。
True.
で、人を苛立たせた理由は何だよ。
呆れた。いいわ。そっちなら答えてあげる。今のは私を勝手に測ったお返しよ。
Wow. Examining. I haven't even tried imaging what's underneath that unfashionable robe of hers, but wait, what? It's like you're living to do nothing. Well, I might have offended her by saying something that was a bit too on the nose. In any case, I think staying here any longer would be even more uncomfortable. Yeah, I think that's enough for this visit.
帰る。そんなに話がしたけりゃ公園で適当なやつを捕まえろ。
What? Who would that be? Random guy in the park. A simple matter of going whoosh with that red cloth of hers.
ですから、私はあまり外には出られません。あなたは暇ではないのですか？
あんたに会うまでは暇だったけど、
Wow.
今は遊んでる暇はない。とりあえず目標をくれたからな、あんたは。
Oh, we have an objective. Okay. Well, that's good, because I didn't know where to go after this. We still have to talk to Ilya about things. But I don't know if we're ready to yet. Ah, Kaden responds in comprehension. That's right, I figured out my path from here on. I socialize with her because she's a valuable source of information, but I should hurry back if there are no more
じ
leads.
ゃあな、もし次があるなら、その時は少しぐらい役に立ってくれ。
約束しましょう。次にあなたが来た時、迷っているのなら道を示すと。その代わりにもう一度聞かせてください。あなたは何のためにこの異常を解決したがるのです。
Why?
そりゃあお前。
Why resolve this, Shiro? Then why is it exactly? Why am I obsessed with the resolution of this anomaly? Even though after the fourth day it will be as though nothing ever happened anyway.
いや、それは。
愚問でしたね。我慢できない人と言ったのは私です。エミやシローにとって困っている人に手を差し伸べるのは当たり前のことでした。
With a poof, all doubt vanishes. Now that she mentions it, that's right. Because it was something I didn't need to think twice about, it probably wasn't even a reason at all. I can't believe it. But those are the kinds of thoughts that fill this head of mine. Awareness. I stand up to leave. She looks at me as though she still has something to say.
そんなにこの場所が嫌いですか？それともここより街での生活の方が刺激的ですか？
半分は当たりで半分外れだよ。ここは嫌いだけど、街をぶらつけよりはまあ新鮮味があって悪くない。
The old flavor was good, classic, great. Yes, this new one is. It's good. They say you'll get tired of even a feast if you don't try different foods every now and then. It's simply enough to have my everyday normal life to go back to. Things like excitement and passion can come later when I've forgotten about them.
じゃあな。
True.
そんなわけなんで、ここもあんたも気に食わないけど、
I'm
気
like
が
that
向いたら
too.
また邪魔するよ。
I start walking towards my daily life.
あなたの毎日は楽しいですか？
どうだろう。とりわけ感謝しなくちゃいけないほど強烈に楽しいってわけじゃないが。
I don't know if I've ever brought it up before, but it's always, and I know it's like kind of a thing with translation as well, but it's always so interesting to me how roundabout certain things are described in translations of, for example, like this line here. It's not so intensely fun that I need to give special thanks for it. For me, like, I can grasp the sentiment of that, but just the phrasing, very roundabout way. I always find that interesting about anime and, I guess, Japanese to English translation. I have to confess, rather than calling it fun, it's also dazzling. It's sometimes a little painful. Well, that captured it a bit more there. I mean, considering that all that Shiro has been able to do so far in his everyday life in the Hollow Paradise, I mean, I like that it's also dazzling, it's sometimes a little painful. The idea of like getting into more of how Shiro feels about the events going on. Like clearly in the moment of them, he is enjoying them. Like that dinner with Sakura at Ilia's castle, or Waku Waku with Rin or Saber and Sakura, and all the different things Shiro has gotten to do. Like it's really nice, but you know, the way he feels is an interesting thought. And I think that right there, because Shiro is still Shiro, and in a game like this, like it's kind of hard to, I guess, to maintain or to get into more of like how his mind interprets these things. It's very different. He is who he is. So to say it's like dazzling, so dazzling that's a bit painful, is like, I appreciate that for Shiro. But and also like Kaden asking him why end it, I guess, you know, tying into that, it's just a natural thing for him to do, to save the situation, to save them. Though that's an interesting thought too. It's like, is he like, who is he saving per se? I mean, he could be, I mean, Bazet's not having a good time in this restart. Like, if anything, yeah, save Bazet from this. You know, Shiro doesn't really know that situation, but because in Shiro's case, like, everyone here is, you know, just existing together. Medea and Kuzuki, you know, Sakura and Rin can just very comfortably exist as sisters. So many different situations where everyone can just be here together. In that sense, like, who is Shiro saving? Like, the situation is unnatural. I guess Kaden is the answer. That's right there. I mean, it was kind of right there in front of us, right? Even with seemingly like the Angra thoughts kicking in, and within this possession, this connection between them. Just the Shiro, like, feeling the frustration, feeling the anger at the way she was describing her life. Like, just living to do nothing. Yeah, I guess that's the answer. I leave that foul church behind. With the organ's venom fading, I can finally think straight again. Kaden said it's only natural for Emiyashiro to save someone. We were just talking about that. But still, just who am I trying to save? just like we were talking about. Because that's the thing. The Shiro himself isn't, like, as far as, because he had to think about it, like, why am I doing this? And then Kaden pointing out, it's natural for him to do so, to save someone. But then that's the question. Okay, so who is he trying to save? He himself doesn't realize it. Because, yeah, I think that's coming from Angra. Because that disgust there with Kaden was coming from, quote-unquote, me, as it said, right? That seems to be what's happening. Shiro, from the beginning, has had this sense to correct the situation, to go through all these steps, never answering to himself or thinking to himself why he was doing so. And now it's finally hit. Now that we've gotten to know Kaden, know her story, to see this connection, it is all coming together. Holy shit, okay. Goddamn, what a game. Oh. Okay. I gaze at the pleasant blue sky. Taking a break after a meal to enjoy some tea out on the veranda is a particularly special reward. It is the very ordinary nature that makes such everyday happiness the best.
それで調べてみたら該当するサーバントとマスターがいたわ。聖杯戦争が開始してから4日目で脱落したのはアインツベルンの
She's describing the third war.
そこボケっとしない。せっかく調べてきてあげたんだからちゃんと報告を聞きなさい。
いや、あれ、遠さか。
I'm momentarily confused. I look down to find Tosca sitting beside me.
遠さかじゃないわよ。まさかあんた
今の話全部聞き流したって言うんじゃないでしょうね。
A sarcasm-free, direct-to-the-point question that is very uncharacteristic of Tosaka. The Tosaka heir is infuriated to the point of forgetting her own family's always elegant motto.
すまん、聞いてなかった。そもそもなんでここに登坂がいるんだ。
Excuse me. I'm worried that she might have just teleported here or something. I truly don't have any memory of Tosaka coming out here and sitting down next to me.
何？もしかして私が帰ってきたことも分かってないの？
バカ言うな。そこまでボケてないぞ。多分登坂が隣に座って羽を伸ばし始めたのに気づかなくて、話しかけられてもこれまた気づかなかっただけだ。
それ十分ボケてるけど仕方ないわね。変な夢っていうか、エミヤくんはまだ4日間に苛まれてるんでしょ。疲れてるってことで見逃してあげるわ。
ああ、重ねてすまん。自分でも今のはちょっと怖い。それとなんだ、別に寝ぼけてるわけじゃないからそう覗き込まないでくれ。
そうよね。ちょい近すぎた。
Okay, Tosaka leaps to her feet. Till a moment ago, she was incredibly close to simply pushing me down.
じゃあもう一回だけ説明するわね。
Alright, here we go. We're getting some Rin help, even though Shiro is fucking going through possession woes. Let's see.
あなたの言う4日間が何なのかってことだけど、それが何者かが聖杯にかけた願いだって仮定を採用するとする。この何者かが何なのかを知る手がかりはやっぱり4日間の縛りだと思うのよ。はじめ聖杯にも限界があって4日間しか再現できないものかとも思ったんだけど、それなら1日を永遠に繰り返せばいいわけでしょ。
だよな。聖杯は持ち主、召喚者の願いを叶えるだけのものだ。そこに自分の魔力をセーブしようなんて考えはない。
I wonder if by the end of this we'll find some way to pinpoint Angra or... I don't know, but Rin was clearly describing the third war there where the Einspurns dropped out very quickly because Angra was super weak, is super weak, but before getting absorbed and going all full evil corruption on the Grail. But, yeah, we'll see.
そう。だから4日間でセーブしている理由は他にある。聖杯の契約者は何らかの理由で4日間しか聖杯戦争を再現できないのよ。で、ここで重要なのは開始でも再開でもない再現ってことね。エミヤくん、この意味わかる？
Oh, wait, a reproduction of his work, because like she was describing, and on the fourth day the Ironspurns broke out. The fourth day, 4 days.
そりゃなんとなく。そいつは一度聖杯戦争を体験していて、
Yeah.
そいつを再現してるってことだよな。
よくできました。そこにさえ気づけばあとは自明の理よ。4日間しか再現できないのは聖杯の力が足りないからじゃない。そいつは4日間しか聖杯戦争を体験できなかった。4日目で脱落したから、そいつにとってその先の聖杯戦争は再現できないのよ。
そいつってのは4日目で脱落したマスターってことか。
So, okay, so let's talk about, because if we're assuming Angara's the one who used the Grail somehow, like how do you use it to this effect? We know it's essentially just a big pot of mana that you can redirect in its corrupted form. I know Angara might have like a special means of interacting with it, just being who he is, but post-corruption we know it's just a fucking pool of mana and curses that you can direct destructively or use to manifest Heaven's Feel. If you can fulfill those conditions. But yeah, I don't.
けど、そんなやついなかったぞ。
私たちの聖杯戦争にはね。で、以前の聖杯戦争の記録を調べてみたら、ちょうど4日目で退場したマスターがいて。
以前の聖杯戦争なんて関係ないだろう。再現してるのは俺たちの聖杯戦争なんだから。
そう思うでしょ？けどちょっと違うのよ。あくまで例え話なんだけど、あなたの言う4日間は白紙の脚本で、私たちは役者なんだと思う。
Oh boy.
この脚本は白紙だから役者たちは好き勝手アドリブできるんだけど、たとえ白紙でも4日間という上演時間だけは決まってるから。
What? Tosca jumps backwards.
トサカ？
結界が反応しかけてる。シロ、
Whoa.
一緒に来て。外に良くないお客さんよ。
Whoa, what?
本当だ。小さいけど警報が鳴ってる。鳴る前によく気づいたな、トサカ。
She's likely set up a similar barrier around herself as well. Ever since leaving for London, Tosca's power has been steadily rising. What an ominous prospect. Who? Right on Tosca's heels, I head outside. Who's this? Without turning to face me, Tosca gestures behind her, back for me to stay on the alert and cover her. I reply with a nod and ready myself for a battle. Facing Tosca now is... Oh, shit. A woman I've never seen before. In the flesh, that is. Wow, it's finally happened. What the hell? Because I was just thinking, like, if Angda's repeating the 4 days that he experienced from the Third Holy Grail War, because that's all he knows, is that, like, creating, like, a space for them that is during that time? And it's affecting Fuyuki presently? Either way, Bazet's here, so fuck whatever I was just thinking.
こんにちは。こんないい天気に何のご用かしら。魔術協会の魔術師さん？
In the flesh, Shiro says.
それはこちらのセリフです。ここはエミヤ切り継ぐしの屋敷と聞きました。
Oh my god.
なぜあなたが出てくるのです？確か彼には養子がいるということですが。
エミヤ君に用ですか？彼はあなたたち協会にはまだ関わりはないはずです。伝言があるのでしたら私が代理として受けたまわりますけど。
Tosca's grinning, but there's a firm rejection written all over her face. In reply,
今あなたと戦う気はありません。いたずらに警戒されては私も反応してしまう。ここでは人目もある。魔術協会を止めなさい。
the woman casually pushes back. Expected. It seems like Tosca had activated the crest on her left arm. Having her potential insurance against the surprise attack seen through so quickly makes her grow even more agitated. Basset is so cool. But Tosca should have already realized how meaningless it is. The woman standing before us isn't looking for a fight, nor does it seem like she's planning on a surprise attack. That's because her power as a magus is easily 3 times the level of Tosca's. Jesus. If this woman made up her mind to fight us, she wouldn't even need a surprise attack to overpower us completely.
わかりました。
True.
今日は視察だけ。
True.
ということでいいのですね。
ええ、マスターとして戦いに来たのではありませんから。しかし不用心なのは感心できませんね。日中だからとセイバーを連れていないとは。
Where have we heard that before?
セイバーを連れていない？
Yeah, she's assuming that Irene is... okay. Tosca's voice sounds a touch perplexed.
そうか。お互い生きているということはまだ出会っていないのか。話は簡潔に済ませた方がいいということですね。
Unless Bazet is remembering Edelfelterine from the beginning of the game who had Saber. Either way, yeah, let's see. I can't make heads or tails of this monologue of hers. Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to figure out a lot of shit too, so... Me and you, buddy. The woman's gaze is fixed on Tosaka. The conversation doesn't match up. All it will take is a mention of the date, servants, or even the woman calling Tosaka by name. Neither Tosaka nor the woman seem to notice the chasm that will make itself known the moment one of them misses a step. A balancing act precarious enough to send shivers down my spine. Okay. This is a miracle on the level of walking across a bottomless pit on a tightrope. I look on wordlessly. I don't know how many times now Tosaka's told me not to interfere should a magus from the association come. As I survey the woman standing before me, I feel dazed, or more accurately, astonished. The one who wasn't there, who shouldn't have existed at all, the 8th master.
おかしな話ですね。
God damn.
今になってエミやキリツグの遺産を鑑定しに来たのですか？彼は教会には属さないフリーランスの魔術師のはずですが。
Yeah. What's up, Bazette?
エミヤ氏の遺産をどうするかは私の管轄ではありません。私は前回の聖杯戦争の勝者である彼に興味があるだけです。それはあなたとて同じでしょ。この町に眠る聖杯を得るため、こうしてエミヤ邸に訪れているのですから。
Tosaka's doubt turns into confidence. The misaligned gears have shifted back into place, and this disjointed conversation has finally started to make
ちょっ
sense.
と待って、聖杯って教会は何を勘違いしてるの？聖杯戦争は終わったのよ。今回の儀式が大失敗して聖杯を召喚する礎そのものがなくなった。冬季の聖杯戦争は第5次で終わったでしょ？
True. Yet here we are. A magnificent sense of balance, and yet she's slipped up. Of course, tightrope walking cannot continue on forever. It's an obvious fact, and yet this woman still came all the way here. Why?
確認するわ。あなたは第5次聖杯戦争がもう終わったと言った？
I feel a chill. If she were to nod, a fistfight would occur the very next instant. And yet, despite tremendous bloodlust emanating from the woman, Tosaka goes ahead and nods right in front of her.
ええ、この町にはもう奇跡は呼び出されない。第5次聖杯戦争は聖堂教会が派遣した監督役、琴峰綺麗の違法によって幕を下ろした。
You should know that name.
あなたたちだけでなく、教会側も彼の死をもってこの土地から手を引いたわ。
Really? I did not know that. Yo.
琴峰。
Yo.
綺麗。
I was hoping she would respond to that. Dude. Yeah, and that still blows my mind from when she talked about that. Jesus Christ, man. The fact that they knew each other. I got a funny comment on YouTube. Shout out to you, who was like, at my surprise, I was like, oh shit, Kide went back to do fucking executor work after the 4th Holy Grail War. That's crazy. For some reason, I thought he would just be wandering or just, you know, going around the world seeking, just waiting and seeking. But I got a comment said, yeah, Kide's gotta work, he's gotta make money, he's gotta eat. Yeah, it's true. Very true. Back to this. Something false. Though the woman was ready to use her strength to push away even the fact of the Holy Grail War being over, at the sound of that single name, she lets the mask of steel fall away.
琴峰が死んだ。
ええ。
Very.
半年前に死んでいる。彼は第5次聖杯戦争の勝者であるエミヤ四郎に倒されたわ。
Oh boy. Tosaka's eyes shift towards me.
エミヤ四郎。そんなマスターは知らない。いえ、今回の聖杯戦争に勝者がいるなんてそんな。
There's no way. There's no way I will recognize one, says the burning hatred in the woman's eyes. Several seconds pass. Tosaka takes a step forward, protecting me.
ねえ、さっきから気になっていたんだけど、聞いていいかしら。
This interaction is crazy. I love it, but this is not expected.
あなた、 その片腕どうしたの？
What? She asks a very odd question.
え？
Two surprised voices make themselves heard. As though suddenly remembering something, the woman reaches out her right hand to her left arm, and everything comes falling down.
Oh.
What the fuck? I had no time to call out to her. The woman flees at full speed, running as though she'd just seen a ghost. Although if you'd asked me, I'd say it was Tosca and I who were visited by one.
魔術協会も人材不足ね。末端の管理ができていないのかしら。
What the fuck did Rin just do? What was wrong with her? Because then Rishiro says as if they were visited by one. Almost like Rin pointed out like an injury that was maybe inflicted on her and the reason she died. Because, you know, the contradiction here of like, the Green knows how the Fifth Holy Grail War really ended as the Shiro and the people who were here. Yet here we are stuck in the restart. Bazet is still under the complete assumption that this is the war while dealing with her own restart. But I don't know how Bazet made it here. Is Bazet here like between... No, because we see the revival whenever we shift to them, whenever they die. But Bazet, we didn't see Bazet die. Angra sacrificed himself. Bazet talked to Ilya, where we last saw him. This was so long back. And then went off to have conversations with the various households in Fuyuki. So I guess this was one of them. But the fact that Bazet made it here where they are is a bit crazy. Just with all the wonky shit that we've seen with Bazet and Angra. Because it makes sense, like, she's come to the Emiya household to speak with Kiritsugu because, you know, Bazet's trying to figure out what to do next. But then we just completely even more fucked up her head by mentioning that, so... Yeah, I don't know, because that's still the biggest mystery for me. How, like, Bazet and Angra are in their own space where crazy shit is happening, where there's like a tiny assassin, there's like a... We saw the Rin and Sagura Edofelt twin thing, we, like, just so much weird shit. And then we got our people over here. It's just, that's still the biggest thing to me. That's like, I don't know. Tosuka's eyes shift towards me. Oh, hello? Oh, I was still... Okay. Either she has no desire to chase after the woman, or she doesn't dare try. After saying a line that sounds like she read it from a script, Tosuka turns around to face me.
ま、今のでしばらくは寄りつかないでしょ。なんか精神的に不安定なやつだったけど、実力は本物よ。
Oh yeah.
私たちだけで戦ったら返り討ちにされてたし、勝手に帰ってくれてラッキーだったわ。で、エミヤ君、今の人を知ってる？私は初めて見る顔だったけど。
いや、俺も初めて見る顔だった。
そう。けど、ものの見事に無視されたわね。凄腕の魔術師だったけど、エミヤ君が魔術師だってことは気づかなかったみたい。
いや、今のは無視っていうより、初めから目に入っていなかった感じだった。
I wonder what would happen if she did. So she's one of those types who thinks that the vast difference in our level of ability makes me unworthy of her consideration. Suddenly my training feels very inadequate.
なら大変ね。彼女、きっとあなたの敵よ。なんとかしたかったらセイバーの手を借りなさい。
Well, that didn't really work out before. And so, Tosuka directs a backward glance at me, her brightness of a moment ago vanishing.
何が言いたいのかわからないんだが、もし戦うならセイバーと二人で行けって？
そう。それでも無理ならランサーに相談しなさい。
Right.
あいつだったら彼女の手の内は知っているでしょうし。
But he's not gonna help us. I don't know if he'd even give information. This encounter, a conversation spanning only a few minutes, was enough for Tosuka to grasp the workings of the whole situation. Shit, Rin's good. Rin is very good. But that is all. She isn't about to suggest a way out of it. Yeah.
先に戻ってるわ。この件に関して私はもう不干渉だから。解決したいのならあなただけで解決して。
Yep, that's the deal. Saying so coldly over her shoulder, Tosca heads back indoors.
いい女だな。
Archer said it. That's my kind of woman. Those words just slipped out for some reason. Dude, is Angra just... That is such an Angra line. Shiro would never say that. He would never say that. But he did, so... This possession influence is there. That's why I wondered, like, how Bassett would respond if she acknowledged Shiro, if she would have noticed anything. Maybe not. I don't know. This doesn't mean that Tosca's abandoning me. Just the opposite. It feels like she's done all she can to give me a chance. She has. A lot of information, a lot of encouragement. And now we have another direction, which is... Oh. New at the big bridge. Well, okay. I guess we'll have to see. But either way, I'm going to leave it at that for this part. Thank you very much for watching. There was a lot to this one. With Karen and Rin there in that encounter with Bassett. Still a lot of stuff I don't understand that I'm like kind of grasping, but they keep like throwing in things that throw me off, and I know that's intentional. It's just really like, fuck, I don't know. But you know, it'll become clearer as time goes on. I'm sure, as it has up to this point. I think the craziest thing I realized this episode is, like, even from the beginning, why Shiro was even motivated to even resolve this hollow paradise. Because, like, it's a fair question. Like, why the fuck would he do that? It's because subconsciously he was being influenced by Angra to save fucking Karen. Because that is Shiro's unconscious motivation to save someone. That is the thing he'll do without questioning, right? So, but that he needs someone to save in that case. On the surface, and like we mentioned before I fully realized it, like everything for him in this scenario is fine. Like he's spending great times with Rain, with Sakura, with Saber, and everyone, right? And it's really nice. So it's like, why resolve it? We see the fact that that's been there from the very beginning is so crazy. That's like the craziest shit I realized this episode. Actually, no, it's fully confirming, because this episode was wild. Fully confirming that Karen is Kirei's child. And even being raised completely separate from him can still dig into your emotional wounds and expose you. That is so funny that she is also good at that. But I love that we affirm that, because that's been on my mind for so long, and that's been killing me. Because I'm like, I didn't have any like super concrete things to back it up, and I was like, oh, I guess I could be wrong. Like, I don't know, maybe that woman, you know, I don't know, you know, I suspected it, but I wasn't fully sure. But that right there all but confirmed it, or confirmed it, I should say. I don't fucking know. I'm still kind of tripping over that. That is crazy. Wow. And just learning about Karen herself, about her life and at what she does, more about her ability that was innate from birth. Some things about the Holy Church, like when you're baptized, you also get in some external stigmata and are becoming an agent, and about true demons. Never heard that before. You know, I guess when demons mature to that point where you can't even normally exercise them at that point, you would need the specialized inquisitors, the executors, I guess. Yeah, so that's very cool. I love Holy Church lore. And about Karen and the things about Angra that were even more apparent this time, about the possession, because even with talking about the true demon possession thing and what she would do, it just was really fucked. Like her role, what she had to do. We know how she looks at it, but the fundamental problem Shiro was feeling from that, from Angra's influence, it seems. And then Karen even mentioning that she knows him, which is that's surprising. But because it's not just that Angra like is innately pissed off by this about Karen. Like, it seems that she knows him through some... I don't know how she would know him. I guess they could have like met in another scenario, if they went to the church and I don't know, in like their little pocket reality of Fuyuki. I don't know, there's still so many things, but yeah, that was super apparent this time with Angra, and more about, yeah, it was just a lot. There was so much this episode, but I love that talk with Karen, fully realizing he was Kire's daughter. Fucking love that. YORO Kobe, I'm rejoicing. And then after coming to the realization about, you know, who Shiro's been trying to save from the very beginning, even though he doesn't even fully realize it and hasn't up until this point, it's just what's been driving him. Like, as the player, we play the game, but to look at it from the standpoint of that Shiro was doing it for a reason, even without knowing what was going on, that is great, man. That's a great explanation. I still can't get over that. And then, because that wasn't enough, that would have been enough for the episode, and if we just did a bunch of like new, like cute scenes and stuff, but no, then we had this scene with Tosaka and fucking Bazet. Bazet made it here. We know the last time we saw her, she was sent off to talk to the different families of Fuyuki to figure something out. Went to the Emiya residence, to where she knows Kiritsugu to live, where knew that he won the previous 4th Holy Grail War, like, but Rin just shattering her fucking even more of what she believed and what is going on. Like, no, we finished the war, Shiro won, Kide is dead, Shiro killed him 6 months ago, and Bazet fucking ran away, because Rin pointed out, like, you know, what's wrong with her arm. So maybe she had like a arm injury when she died? And the fact that Rin pointed it out, though, is crazy. I don't know if, like, because Rin legit noticed it and pointed it out. I don't think Rin has to understand that to point it out. I think Rin legit saw and pointed it out. But because, like, the reality of the situation was being broken, Bazet was starting to meld more with what actually happened. Like, with the reality of her death to them and to the actual events of the 5th Holy Grail War. I'm not sure. Like, it started to align and correct itself. Something like that. Either way, that was crazy, and there's still a lot of things that I'm just trying to keep in mind going forward, man. And Karen pointing out the similarities between Shiro and Angra, which very much reminds me of the comparisons of, I guess, of Shiro and Kire, but it seems very, very accented in a more pure sense with Angra, just because he is the embodiment of that hatred. It is just what the way of life for him, easy as breathing. It's so the kind of comparison there, like the opposite, complete, perfect opposite comparison there was cool to fully realize, because I don't think I've ever really fully thought of that before. I think before there's been like made comparisons about maybe Bazet and Angra, and even Angra's like perspective on justice and saving people. That's been gotten into before. So I guess that, yeah, wow, they've sown seeds throughout this game, man. That's crazy. Wow, that must be crazy to see if you've played this game, I imagine. There you go, man. But I think that's all I gotta say about this one, man. Just so much cool shit, man. Oh, confirmed. Kire's daughter, man. I could finally talk about that scene from Spring Song. It's been bugging me ever since I saw it. I was like, no. I didn't want to look up shit. I didn't want to look up shit. So that's just been bothering the fuck out of me. Finally, dude. Because there's no way that's wrong. There's no way that's wrong. She has to be Kire's kid. There's no way. They've left too many hints of like their similarities, and it just lines up too well. That's crazy as fuck. I love that. That's so cool. And just the cruel twist of fate of her ending up at that church as well, despite never having known him, and just completely going her own path in life and finding her innate, just really fucked up ability. That's wild. And the game just gives you the pieces and doesn't address it, because of course Shiro's not going to point that out. Like, she's, I guess, doesn't know, maybe. But yeah, I mean, I don't see how she would know, because, you know, he never came forward to claim her. Because in the Fate Zero canon of 4th Holy Grail War, that was just a day or two. Like, her death was just like a day or two before Hide's preparation for the 4th Holy Grail War, where he became a mage's student under Tokiomi. Yeah, man. I really like Karen. She's very interesting. I like that her sprites are great. And now that like I properly know about her, that you know a lot of the mystery has been seemingly for the most part been unraveled about who she is and everything. I like her. And I'm not just saying that because she's Kirei's kid. That is mega bonus points. But I've quite enjoyed her addition. Like I like even the way Shiro said it, like kind of the new flavor of her being there is good. But anyway, yeah, that's it for this one. We're gonna hit a round of the Ilias Castle as we do. Game starto between Sella and Lacerit. Who are we gonna pick now? Let me see. Have I I'll go Shiro. I don't know if I've done that one.
準備はいいか、キャスター。
あなたに言われるまでもありません。買い物より楽勝。
Right off the bat, chest. Come on.
いただいていくわ。
Piece of paper. Come here. We weren't able to kill Emiel last time. Resilient bastard. Me, your shitter. Oh god. I was clicking too hard. Sasaki. I love her using his name. I don't know if I've ever heard her say his name before. Yeah, I've always heard Asashin, but we're saying Sasaki there. I guess I never noticed it when I've used her before in this. Is someone like way ahead? No, okay, we're right here, we're right here. Okay, I gotta get more fights, come on. Oh god, he's trying to dodge the big cannonball. Drop him. Fight him. Oh god. Ooh, that was a tough fight. That did not click well. Oh, he's dead. Lancer's fishing rod. I don't know if I had that one. Oh, we mega clicked there. What the fuck? Oh my god, I was trapped. Jesus. Just gets him again. Here we go. Perfect. Book of False Attendant, we already had that one. But I think the fishing rod is new. Alright, Saber's right here. Come on. Sorry, Saber. Come here, you shitter. Here we go. She looks so sad. Oh boy. Jesus. Guess we can try killing Gil. See if he drops anything new. But I don't know if we'll live, actually. Oh my god, too much. Oh god. Oh god. Getting carried by Sasaki here. Oh, here we go. Jesus. They're cracked. Oh, thank God. Hey, there we go. Alright, album mode. Collection. Lancer's fishing rod tool. The rod of impaling barb to death reverses the nature of cause and effect. Get fish first, angle later. That's fucking great. Wow. Yeah, I think that's everything. Saber's favorite. Oh, not too many left. We are getting closer and closer. We can take a look now at the... Oh, look at that. Hey, we've gotten quite a bit of that. Now, poor Sakura, we still see there getting fucked up. Little Gil with his little Ea. Medusa on the Pegasus. Very cute. Archer and his very flowery Roiasis. Very great. Saber is in a tornado. That's cool. Kojiro's here. We see his lower half. Lancer is sweating. Probably about to die. And Shiro's charging at Archer. Ah, I see there. Okay, got it. It's very cute. Oh, this is great. And Rin in her fucking automobile. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Alright, that's it for this part. I could just sit here and just talk about all the shit we just learned, especially about Karen being Kirei's kid. I just have to accept that, because the game is just like, oh, there you go. Did you put it together? Ah, we're gonna keep the story moving. Okay. Alright. I'm good. That's it. Thank you very much for watching, as always, and I will see you in the next part. Peace.